Hey, this video is part of a series of video shorts created from a set of masterclasses developed by Think Big and Young Rewired State. Each workshop was supported by an organisation with experience in the field. This workshop was supported by Rebel Uncut, a TV and film production company who have been involved with a number of large-scale projects. This video is based around Lightworks, which is a piece of free video editing software. Lightworks is pretty powerful. This video covers some of the basics like editing and trimming, as well as adding transitions and effects. Once you've got your head around them, it's worth checking out some of the advanced tutorials people have put together on YouTube. You'll surprise yourself with what you can achieve. Once you have installed Lightworks, you'll need to create a free account on their website, and then use that to log in. It doesn't require any billing details to do this. For this project, we shot some footage using our mobile phones. You don't need a big expensive camera to make a professional looking video. Make sure you've got a few different shots, and a piece of music too. Remember, this is a pretty fast moving run through. Just because this video goes quickly, doesn't mean that you have to. Make sure you pause this video to give yourself a chance to explore the steps and get to grips with Lightworks. Let's go. Step 1. Starting a new project. A window will pop up with an option to start a new project. You need to name it. To keep things simple, we're going to stick with auto frame rates for this video. Once you've named it, go ahead and click Create. Step 2. Importing files. The next window allows you to import your video files. In the top left is a tab called Places. If you click it, you will be shown a drop-down menu where you can add the files from your computer or external storage devices. Select the footage you want to have in your video. To select more than one video at a time, hold down the Shift key as you click. At the bottom of this window, next to the Import key, are some options. We're going to use Copy Local. This means the computer will copy the files into a new Lightworks folder to work from. Create Link links to the file from its current location. This means that if you're taking footage from a phone or a portable hard drive and you unplug it, the computer won't be able to find your files. Hit Import. Step 3. Explaining bins. Now you should have a window which has all of your downloaded video clips in it. Think of this as your library. Once you've started making loads of videos, all of the footage you import will go here. If you click Clips, it will show you everything and allow you to filter videos or audio and stuff like that from the top of the window. You won't have any edits yet, but once you start working on projects, they will show in here. Everything does what the name suggests and shows you everything that you have. The interesting one here is bins. We aren't really going to use them today, but they're worth understanding. Bins aren't bins as you know them. In Lightworks, they are a way for you to organise your footage so that you can access it easier. When you've got a massive project going on with loads of shots or scenes, you might find it useful to have a bin for different scenes. Car chase sequence, or shootout scene, depending on your film obviously. You might find it useful to group similar shots, point of view shots, or stock footage of sunsets, or something like that. You can create a bin by clicking on the little plus sign. If you double click one of your shots, it should open a viewing panel with a blue outline. This is where you preview shots before inserting them into your project. Leave this window open because you will need it. If you accidentally close the window with your clips in it, or the preview pane, you can get them back by hitting the fourth icon down on the left of the screen. It has a little block of squares in it. Step 4. Starting a new edit. There should be some icons on the left-hand side of the screen. Right-hand click on the third one down, called Create a New Edit. From the pop-up menu, click New Edit Settings. Lightworks uses tracks to create finished video projects. You might have your main footage in track 1, but then have a second video track which you can use to put in special effects or cutaways. Likewise, you might have your footage audio on one track, but put some backing music on another track. For now, we only need one video track and one audio track. We will add more later if we need them. You can also set the length of the video from here. I only have 4 minutes of footage, so I'm setting the length to 5 minutes. That gives me room to move things around. Hit Set and the menu will close. Click the new menu button as normal, and a new edit timeline and a project viewer should pop up. They have red outlines. The long window is your video timeline. All of your shots are arranged in here, and it's where you apply your effects and things like that. The video viewer shows what your finished project will look like. Now that we have all of our windows set up, take a moment to arrange your screen so you can see everything without any overlaps. You can click and drag windows around till it looks good to you. If you close your edit by mistake, you can get it back by going to Edit in your Bins window. Step 5. Putting shots in the timeline. To start building a project, we need to put shots onto our timeline. First of all, load the shot you want to insert into the viewer by double-clicking it in the Bins window. Then there are two options for adding footage to your project: Insert or Replace. Insert means that any footage you add will be added wherever the red marker is on the timeline. Any other footage on the timeline will have to move over to make room for the new footage. Replace works a little bit differently. It'll insert footage wherever the red marker is on the timeline, but it will replace any other footage that was already there. This is a subtle but important difference. It may be worth taking a moment to experiment with both options and understand the difference. Have a go at adding a few pieces of footage to your timeline. Step 6. Marks and Parks. Marks and parks are central to using Lightworks, so let's go over what they are and how they work. They let you select bits of footage you want to use in your project. Later we use them to apply effects to specific bits of footage too. I want to add this bit of footage to my project, but I only need a few seconds from the middle of the clip. We use the mark and parks to tell the computer exactly which bit of the clip to use. In the blue Clip Preview panel, next to the Insert and Replace buttons are two little blue diamond buttons. The left one is Mark and the right one is Park. The blank one in the middle clears any markers that you put down. Marking a clip starts a selection, and parking a clip ends the selection. To put down a marker, play your clip, and when the clip reaches the point where you want to start your selection, hit the left-hand diamond button. A little blue diamond should appear on the Clip Preview timeline, and the timeline after it will go white. Let the clip continue to play, and at the point where you want your selection to stop, hit the other diamond button, and Lightworks will close the selection with a park. Now, if you hit the Insert button, only the selected bit of footage will add itself to your timeline. Getting your head around this function is central to using Lightworks, so take a moment to play around with them and make sure you get how they work. Have a go at using marks and parks to trim footage before adding it to your timeline. Step 7. Understanding your timeline. Now that we've added some shots, we can explore the timeline. It might be helpful to zoom in a bit by using the magnifying glass in the top left-hand side of the window. The red marker shows the active point of your timeline. Any footage you add will add at wherever the red marker is. Shots can be moved around and reordered by clicking and dragging them. Both of our tracks are open for editing. We can isolate them by clicking on the glowing V1 or A1. This is useful for later when we're adding effects. There is an undo and a redo function on the right hand side which may come in handy too. Shots added to your timeline show in the preview panel with the red outline. This is how your finished project will look. Note that there are mark and park functions in this window too, and some buttons that look very similar to the Insert and Replace functions from the Clip Preview panel. We will come back to these later. Step 8. Trimming shots. In our timeline, we can fine-tune our editing through trimming. We may have used mark and parks to select the footage we want to insert into our project, but to get it really precise, we can trim shots. If you hover your mouse near the point where two shots meet in your timeline, the cursor will change to a little bracket shape. Click the timeline and the two clips will unjoin. Now you can extend the length of one shot while shortening another to make sure the shot changes at the exact point that you want it to. With the shots unjoined, click and drag the red marker. If you move it to the left, it shortens a clip on the left and extends the one to the right. If you move it to the right, it shortens a clip on the right and extends the one to the left. The project view will have changed to have two panels. This is to show you exactly where your cut will land in between the two shots. This sounds confusing. The best way to understand it is to have a go. Have a go at trimming some shots and see what difference it makes. After you've finished trimming, remember to click Join, a red button at the bottom of your timeline. This is a good point to pause and add all of the shots to your project, sequence and trim them, and then we'll explore audio and effects. Step 9. Using mark and parks in Project Viewer. Mark and parks in the Project Viewer work in exactly the same way as they do in the Clip Previewer. You let the project play, place your marker to start a selection, and then a parker to end your selection. Once you have made a selection, you can remove or delete in much the same way as you can insert or replace in the Clip Previewer. Removing a clip leaves a gap where the clip was, and deleting it removes a clip but closes the gap by bringing the rest of the footage together. Have a go at removing or deleting some of the footage from your project. Remember, you can use the undo function to get back to a point where you can work from. Step 10. Creating new tracks or working with specific tracks. We're going to have a go at adding backing music. To do this, we need to add a new audio track. On the right hand side of the timeline, click the little cog and in the pop-up menu choose Add Track. From the options, make sure you've chosen Audio and hit OK. A new audio track should have appeared in your timeline. To make sure our audio adds to this track in particular, make sure your other tracks are turned off by unclicking their names, V1 and A1. They should go from blue to greyed out. You insert the audio in exactly the same way as video. Load it into the Clip Previewer. Then, to insert the whole track, just hit the Insert button, or to choose a section of the track, use marks and parks to select the right bit, and then hit Insert. Step 11. Isolating tracks to create voiceovers. You will find that your backing music is playing over the top of the audio from your footage. We're going to remove a portion of the footage audio to leave just the backing music. This technique can be used to create voiceovers or can be used to create a cutaway shot in your video. It's quite easy to do using the tools that we've already learnt. Isolate the footage audio track, it should be A1, then set your marks and parks on the timeline to select the audio you want to remove. Use the Remove button from the project viewer to remove the selected audio. This should leave a gap in your A1 audio track, and your backing music should play without the footage audio over the top of it. If you wanted to create a voiceover, you would record it and insert it in the same way. Step 12. Adding mixes. Mixes are another word for transitions. This is the way that Lightworks moves from one shot to the next. The default setting is to cut straight from one shot to the other, but it is possible to add several different effects to make your video look more interesting. With all the tools we've learned already, adding transitions is easy. There are a few ways to do this with varying results. For this video, we're going to go with a simple one. On your timeline, set your mark and parks over the point where two shots join each other. Then, at the bottom of the timeline window, click Effects. At the top right hand corner of the pop-up window, click down to Mixes and a list of available transitions will show. Some of these transitions are more complex than others and require further setting changes. If you want to explore them further, check out the tutorial section on the Lightworks website. For this video, we're going to go with a simple dissolve. Make sure it's selected from the list of effects, and then from the bottom of the window, make sure you've selected Apply to Marked Section. Again, there are other options here, but they are for another video another time. A new window will pop up with some transition settings you can alter. Explore the settings to get it just how you want it and click OK. Your dissolve transition should now have inserted itself into your video timeline. Have a go at adding some more transitions between your other shots. Step 13. Adding other effects. Now that we've created some transitions, adding other titles or effects is a piece of cake. In exactly the same way, add your mark and parks to the piece of footage you want to add an effect to, then hit the Effects button. Before, we chose Mixes from the top. Go out of that option and explore some of the other options. I've added a negative effect to part of my video. First, I used mark and parks to select the video I wished it to affect. Then from the menu, I chose Colour, Negative. There are lots of effects to try. Some of them require some setup. Have a go at applying these in your own time. If you get stuck, the forum on the Lightworks website is a really useful place to ask questions. Or try typing what you're doing into YouTube. There are loads of tutorial videos. That's the end of this video. Hopefully you've got a grasp of some of the basics. Lightworks is a brilliant program. The more you explore, the more powerful it gets. When you win your first Oscar, make sure that you give Think Big, Young Rewired State and Rebel Uncut a shout out. Cheers!